Zoex.net. Lesson 6. Box Model Sizing. I have explained the box model that is used in CSS, and this video will explain the peculiarities of sizing it. Although my previous examples set all the sizes of all four edges of the padding, border, and margin the same, it is possible to give each side its own size. My first example shows the padding with four different sizes, with each one set to double the previous value to make it clear, from 10 pixels to 80 pixels. This is a simple image element with a border and a gold background that is used to display the padding. Opening this document, we see the padding displayed in gold. Notice that it is thinnest on the top, next thinnest on the right side, next the bottom, and finally the left side. This is the order that our side sizes are generated in when we specify four of them. It is a little odd, but we can specify our padding, border, and margins with fewer than four values. In this example, I have removed the fourth value so that we have just 10 pixels, 20 pixels, and 40 pixels. What does this do? It doubles up the usage of one of the values. Specifically, the second value is used for both sides, as we will see. Opening this document, we see that the padding on the sides is the same. It is 20 pixels wide, as we saw in the specification. So when three values are given for the padding, the first value specifies the top padding, the middle value is used for the sides, and the third value specifies the bottom padding. Much as we can specify just three values for padding, we can specify just two values. In this example, we cut off the third 40 pixels value and just use the 10 pixels and 20 pixels. In this case, both of the values are doubled up. The first value is used for the top and bottom, and the second value is used for the sides. Opening this document, we see that the padding on the top and bottom is the same. Likewise, the padding on the sides is the same. The top and bottom are both 10 pixels, as defined by the first padding value, and the sides are both 20 pixels, as defined by the second value. This finishes off all of the cases, since the last case, one value, defines the padding for all four sides as we've seen before. In addition to specifying 1 to 4 values for the padding value, we can assign padding values to each side individually. This gives us some additional flexibility. As shown here, we use the properties padding top, padding right, padding bottom, and padding left to specify the padding values individually. Opening this document, we see the padding much like the first example. The top is 10 pixels, the right side is 20 pixels, the bottom is 40 pixels, and the left side is 80 pixels. The difference is that I set the padding with four individual properties in this case, rather than using the single padding property. This next example demonstrates how we can set up four different values for all three properties at the same time: the padding, the border, and the margin. The margin and padding specifications are identical, and the border is similar, except that we use the border width property instead, because the border property is used to set the width, style, and color simultaneously, as we have seen before. Here we have set the border color and style separately. Opening this document, we see the padding in blue, the border in black, and the margin in white between the image's border and the thin outer border of the containing div. This looks a bit mixed up, but you can see that the values are specified in the same order according to our document, since the padding was specified as 10px, 20px, 40px, 80px. The border width was specified as 40px, 30px, 20px, 10px, and the margin was specified as 15px, 5px, 20px, and 10px. This last example demonstrates how to set the sides individually for the padding, the border, and the margin. In this example, I set the padding left to 20 pixels, the border right width to 20 pixels, the border top width to 30 pixels, and the margin bottom to 20 pixels. Notice the format for these specifications. For borders, the side is placed second before the width in the property name. Opening this document, we see the 20 pixel padding on the left side in blue. This was the only padding that was set, so the rest are 0 and not visible. The thicker black regions on the top and right sides are the borders that were set to 30 and 20 pixels, respectively. The other sides were not set, but they still have the default border width of 3, which is why we see the border on the left and bottom sides. Finally, the white region at the bottom between the borders is the margin that was set for the bottom to 20 pixels. Since none of the other margins were set, there is no white space on the other sides because the default margin is 0. All of these examples demonstrate how to set the padding, border, and margin for each side individually. Most of the time we want all 4 sides equal, but this gives us flexibility to handle special cases.